We have identified the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder. This is what is commonly referred to as a black box.
Key evidence pulled from the ashes of a fiery plane crash. Find out what happened just moments before that doomed the plane.
Some Osceola County parents are complaining about changes to this year's ESE inclusion program. We'll tell you how the district says they're handling it. Details ahead.
With elections come changes to Orlando City Council. Coming up, who's staying and who's leaving.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at 4 p.m.
And the flames were so bad. Heat was, you can feel the heat from far away. And, we make a decision, run for our lives.
Those two men say they were inside a store the moment a UPS cargo plane crashed and exploded right after taking off from a Kentucky airport. The fire destroyed the plane and spread to nearby businesses in Louisville. Just minutes ago, we learned the left engine of the plane fell off moments before the crash.
At least 9 people died and others are missing. 3 people were on the plane at the time. News 6 anchor Matt Austin joins us now live in studio. And Matt, leaders with the NTSB just gave an update.
Yeah, Lisa, Ginger, the black boxes were just recovered within the past hour or so. They have heavy fire damage, but investigators are hopeful that they will help them find out what caused this crash.
And we have viewed airport CCTV security coverage, which shows the left engine detaching from the wing during the takeoff roll.
Horrifying footage from Louisville's Muhammad Ali International Airport shows the moment UPS Flight 2976 en route to Honolulu, Hawaii, takes off Tuesday. Its left wing engulfed in flames. Seconds later, the cargo plane comes crashing down, erupting into a massive ball of fire. Officials say there were 3 crew members on board. And this dashcam video, taken near several businesses, shows the plane tilted on its left side, skidding across the ground, a fiery trail following behind.
There was an accident on departure.
The sheer scale of the devastation was immense as firefighters worked to contain the fast-growing inferno, which ripped through an industrial area south of the airport and grew to the size of a city block.
This is an all-hands-on-deck response.
Kentucky's governor later confirmed the plane was full of about 38,000 gallons of fuel and smashed into at least 2 businesses, a waste management company and an auto parts store.
There was no specifically hazardous cargo on board of the plane that would create an environmental issue for those around the site, but the impact and where it impacted could create those types of situations.
CBS News aviation expert Captain Laura Einsettler.
The question will be for the investigators, what type of maintenance was being done on that left engine beforehand, in the hours beforehand, what type of maintenance history there was.
And just minutes ago, the NTSB revealed there was no maintenance work done on the plane on the day of the crash, and a preliminary check of maintenance records shows no red flags at this point. Lisa.
Matt, thank you. Classroom concerns boiling over a change in student class assignments as parents in one district speaking out. Your Osceola County community correspondent Laverne McGee is in Kissimmee, where she took those concerns directly to the superintendent.
For weeks, we've been hearing about parents concerned about Osceola County's decision to place exceptional student education students, also known as ESE students, into general classrooms, with many saying it's causing problems for some students, teachers, and parents.
He has ADHD, diagnosed at 3. At 5, he was diagnosed with ASD, autism. He's on the higher end of the spectrum.
Jacqueline Cruz's son has autism. He's in 2nd grade and has been in an Osceola County school for 5 years. This year, the district integrated the ESE inclusion program with the general classrooms. Cruz says she's seen some concerning changes in her son and believes that some teachers need more training when it comes to exceptional student education for kids with disabilities.
The students need more help and the teachers need more help.
Osceola County School District says it's well aware of parents' concerns, including Cruz's, but stand by the program.
Now we're actually serving students in the environment in which they're supposed to be served. We weren't before.
On Wednesday, Osceola County School District hosted the 2025 State of Education event, where the school encouraged parent feedback on all initiatives. Superintendent Dr. Mark Shanoff shared district's 5 key strategic plan focus areas: engagement, alignment, community, achievement, and culture. We brought Cruz's concerns forward and found out they're already being addressed.
We've been extremely responsive to all the concerns that have come in. I don't think that there's a concern that that hasn't been conveyed to the district that we haven't personally addressed.
Cruz's main concern is that the teachers are properly trained.
Because if the teachers help, then the students are helped.
The district says the teachers are getting help, and it will continue to watch for progress. I'm your Osceola County Community Correspondent, Laverne McGee, News 6.
The winners of races for Orlando's City Council in District 1 and District 5 are basking in their victories today, but it is a different story in District 3, which includes College Park, Rosemont, and Baldwin Park. That seat is open for the first time in more than 20 years, and now a winner will not be determined until next month. Your Orlando Community Correspondent Mike Valenti joins us now live outside City Hall. So, Mike, no candidate in that race emerged with more than 50% of the vote.
Yeah, Lisa, that's right. And this field of 5 candidates has now narrowed down to 2, Roger Chapin and Miritana, who will now face each other one-on-one in a runoff in December.
With just 13 votes separating them.
Thank you all for coming. Let's enjoy the night.
Roger Chapin and Miritana live to fight another day, hoping to build off their respective progress.
And I believe that momentum will take us to victory on December 9th.
We were outraised 3-1, and we still came just neck and neck with the lead candidate here.
Maybe the biggest surprise of this race was how close the top 2 finishers were.
Aubrey Jewett is a political science professor at UCF. He says the runoff election to replace outgoing Commissioner Robert Stewart will hinge on turnout, mobilizing voters in an off-year municipal election in December.
It will really be up to those 2 candidates, probably to just do some old-fashioned campaigning. I mean, either knocking on doors personally or getting their campaign surrogates and volunteers to knock on doors.
In the residents that I listen to, affordability is top of mind, safety, connectivity in the neighborhoods, walkability, transit.
They want public transit. I'm amazed at how much support I've heard for public transit, a public transit system that really works for us.
The son of former Orange County Mayor Linda Chapin, businessman Roger Chapin has the backing of Orange County Sheriff John Mina and Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, both of whom were at the candidates' election night party Tuesday. While at Tana's celebration, out came an emerging leader in progressive Democratic politics, Congressman Maxwell Frost.
I'm honored to endorse her. They might be able to inspire some people to turn out that maybe otherwise wouldn't.
Again, the runoff election is slated for December 9th, but there are 2 other races in Orlando where we do have final outcomes. That's, of course, District 1 and District 5. We got a lot to talk about each of those races. That's coming up later tonight. For now, we're live outside City Hall. I'm your Orlando Community Correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
All right, Mike, thank you. And speaking of District 5, Shan Rose will keep her seat on the Orlando City Council. She represents downtown Orlando, Paramore, Metro West, and Mercy Drive. Now, Rose served as the interim commissioner when the governor suspended Regina Hill from office last year. Rose received more than 50% of the vote, with Hill taking a little more than 30%. Hill is currently facing charges accused of exploiting an elderly woman out of thousands of dollars. And in District 1, Tom Keene beat incumbent Jim Gray. District 1 includes the communities near Orlando International Airport. Keene won the 4-way race with nearly 54% of the vote.
We're starting to see some noticeable changes on Donnelly Street in Mount Dora. Historic rain washed out it a little more than a week ago. Now, since the governor has declared a state of emergency, crews have completed some of the restoration work. Your Lake County Community Correspondent Emily McLeod tells us what's next for the city and the repairs.
Now, even though this section of Donnelly you see behind me remains closed, the city is still on the road to recovery. I was up here on Tuesday and I noticed this section of Donnelly where the washout happened, it looked noticeably different where some areas had been filled in. So I decided to come up here and talk to Mount Dora Mayor James Homage to see where things stand on this project.
They had 2 backhoes, dump trucks, the whole front end loaders. They had them all there and started to clean up the mess we had.
This is what Donnelly Street looked like after it was washed out from historic rainfall in late October. And now a lot of the damage has been filled in a little more than a week later. Mount Dora Mayor James Homage says once Governor Ron DeSantis signed this emergency declaration, the Florida Department of Transportation was able to bring in their equipment. What was the purpose of filling that in? Just preventing further damage?
Well, there's a lot of utilities that run through there, fiber cable, sewer, other lines that just are vital to the city. So they had to stabilize all of the utilities and go from there.
On Monday, the city also sent out some information saying it's currently installing utilities and speeding up the design and engineering phase on Donnelly Street. The city says FDOT is helping Mount Dora obtain a certification that will make the city eligible to receive grant funding for the reconstruction project.
We end up with, rebuilding it and then looking for reimbursement from the federal government highway funds.
Mayor Homage says they have 2 engineers on site for this project, one with the city and one with the Florida Department of Transportation. He says so far early estimates for the cost of this project are sitting around $5 million, but adds they have not seen anything yet from engineers on this project. Now, as a reminder, you can still get around Mount Dora and get to downtown Mount Dora, even though this section of Donnelly is still shut down for alternate routes. We've got some of those posted over on clickorlando.com. For now, reporting in Mount Dora, I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
Security seems to be top of mind for one local city tonight.
Coming up, what leaders are set to discuss when it comes to extra patrols on the streets. Plus,
I know the water quality of our Indian River Lagoon, and anything we can do to pretty much make that better, I'm all for it.
how one group is turning restaurant waste into a future for a local waterway. That's next.
Our gradual warm-up continues right on through the weekend. Beyond that, though, find the heavy jacket. Coldest air of the season by far. Blast through by Monday. We're going to break down that forecast for you at about 4:17.
News 6 Insider is sponsored by Orange County Library System.
It's not often that we would encourage throwing things in the river that would normally go in the landfill, but that's exactly what's happening here in Brevard County. I'm your community correspondent, Paul Giorgio, and this is how restaurant waste is actually being used to help the Indian River Lagoon. It's happy hour at Oyster Shooters in Cocoa Village.
It's a lot of fun.
Chris Dickman is behind the bar.
Anything that brings people around a table, I'm happy about.
He's got strong wrists.
Yeah, you gotta get the leverage. Some are easy, some are not.
And a love for his craft.
Take the knife through up.
He'll need both.
Our main oyster is a Virginia Purcell, and we go through a lot of them.
I like mine on a saltine with some cocktail sauce.
The restaurant sells about 6,000 of these things a week.
The greatest thing about this place is they have so many different types of oysters.
And what's left? Plates full of shells.
Exactly.
It seems Brevard County loves their oysters.
I personally don't eat too many oysters. I'm not a big shellfish person.
Well, maybe not everyone.
Got lots of shells in here, and then we got some maggots and things too.
And that might be because Hosanna Owen spends her days collecting those leftover shells.
We got our gloves to keep us clean.
And everything that goes along with them. But trust me, she appreciates them for a different reason.
This bin is about 400 pounds of shell.
She's the Conservation Restoration Coordinator for Brevard Zoo's
So we're just gonna switch these guys out.
Shuck and Share program. Once a week, she treks across the county, hitting seafood restaurants to pick up bins filled with shell.
So we build oyster reef using these oyster shells, so it's kind of a full circle. Oysters are gregarious, which means they like to live on top of each other.
Next, they're off to a quarantine site where they'll dry in the sun. Worldwide, oyster populations have declined by 85%. Our Indian River Lagoon is no different. Because of overharvesting and pollution, there isn't enough substrate or generational shell debris on the river bottom to sustain the amount of repopulation scientists want to see. Where will these go from here?
Yeah, so after at least a 90-day quarantine process, we will pick them up, we will take it out into the Indian River Lagoon and put it in the lagoon for it to have its forever home.
In the 10 years since the program started, they've collected 8 million pounds of oyster shells, putting them back in the river and keeping them out of the landfill.
It's a polarizing food.
Back at the restaurant,
you like them, you don't.
You can get oysters from around the country, but none from the river just blocks away. Dickman hopes one day the Shuck and Share program might change that.
I know the water quality of our Indian River Lagoon, and anything we can do to pretty much make that better, I'm all for it.
And it may be as simple as eating more oysters. In Cocoa, Paul Giorgio, News 6.
It's amazing that they can do so much to help the environment.
And we can help by just eating oysters.
Absolutely.
I love that. All right, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now. And I love that you talked about the moon last night.
The beaver moon.
The beaver moon.
Yeah.
And people, you asked for photos and you're getting them.
They delivered. ClickOrlando.com/pins. You can scan that QR code right there. That will take you to ClickOrlando.com/pins. Or you can download the free News 6 weather app. There's a little section in there where you can upload the picture right from your phone. This coming in from Donna last night, Ocklawaha. You see the bright moon right there. We get part 2 tonight. The moon was technically full at about 8 o'clock this morning, but it looked pretty full last night, and it's going to look pretty full again tonight. So we're kind of get a bonus out there. Bright shot of the moon here. This is from Northeast Orlando, closer to Winter Park. Thank you for this photo as well. And then taking you further to the north, Motley and Ormond Beach. A great shot last night of the nearly full moon at that time. Again, you can send your photos to ClickOrlando.com/pins or on the free News 6 weather app. There will be a few extra clouds, and there it is. Again, you can always stay up to date with the forecast as well. Wednesday tonight, 5, 6 o'clock, we are going to be doing some battle with some of these higher thin clouds that come through. The moon should shine bright through most of this. This is going to be through 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think we'll see a few extra clouds by and large again tomorrow, and rain chance is going to go up a smidge. Only have it about 20%, but with this flow off of the Gulf, may have enough moisture to wring out just a stray sprinkle or two, especially south and east of I-4 tomorrow. Most of us are going to be dry. That's 11 o'clock, and most of this happens late into your day. Nothing like that out there right now, just a few of those puffy clouds with the beautifully blue skies. Live look with our Launch Credit Union camera this evening. We have air temperatures back to the upper 70s. Skies are mainly clear. It's that sunshine remained dominant across most of Central Florida the first half of the day. Then we bubbled up those heating of the day clouds. Mount Dora, good evening. We are at 81 right now, 77 in DeLand. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen.
Temperatures tomorrow on the milder side, seasonable anyway, kind of the same ballpark we were in this morning, so you may need a light jacket, but that's right where we should be for this time of the year. Average lows are around 60. We're back to the upper 50s and lower 60s when you wake up tomorrow morning. With the extra clouds around and that stray opportunity for a sprinkle late into the afternoon, temperature is going to get back to the upper 70s to lower 80s when we go through our Thursday. And then things change big time on the other side of the upcoming weekend. This is the temperature outlook from November 11th through November 15th. The darker the blue, the higher the confidence that some colder air is coming, and this cold means some business. We're going to head to Ocala and look at our morning low trend over the next couple of days. Again, we're nice and mild through the weekend. We're going to wake up into the 60s Saturday and Sunday. 50s on Monday. Okay, we can take that. And then look at this on Tuesday. We are going to crash into the mid to upper 30s by Tuesday morning. That's the actual air temperature, rebounding a little bit back to the upper 30s and lower 40s by Wednesday. But this cold front means business area wide. That's what we could be looking at, upper 30s and lower 40s by the time you wake up on Tuesday morning. It's going to be warm before that, though. 85 on Saturday, 86 on Sunday. And then there comes that temperature crash in the early stages of next work week, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Added security in one local city is making the downtown area more family friendly.
More presence of security. We've seen a change.
The big decision leaders have tonight when it comes to keeping that extra security in place. That's next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
In less than 2 hours, Daytona Beach city leaders are set to talk about extending a security program that many people say they appreciate, as we take a live look at our camera in Daytona Beach right now. The goal is to keep streets more walkable and family-friendly and support local businesses.
Yeah, so for months now, unarmed security guards have been walking several parts of Daytona Beach's community redevelopment area. They're focused on Main Street, Beach Street, and the riverfront. They're not police, but they are trained to deter crime, report issues, and build community relationships. People say it actually makes them feel safe.
I think that the city is revitalizing, and I love to see that they're putting more security in place because it's a great town and this is a great area and people want to come and enjoy, coming to downtown Daytona Beach and Beach Street and hang out with their family and feel safe.
Tonight, the Community Redevelopment Agency will consider extending that program again. If approved, the contract with First Coast Security would climb to $134,000 and keep the extra patrols in the area. Tonight's meeting at Daytona Beach City Hall starts at 6. With all the back and forth going on with SNAP payments, nonprofits are stepping in.
And so are some local businesses.
My philosophy on hospitality is if you can help, you should help.
The restaurant serving up free meals to kids. That's coming up.
A woman is back in Orlando and is raising awareness about the devastation in Jamaica after it was hit by Hurricane Melissa. Coming up, I will share more on what she has to say after she was there when the storm hit.
Welcome back. We are following several top stories right now.
Investigators have recovered the black boxes from the UPS cargo plane that crashed yesterday in Louisville. The NTSB says the left engine of the plane fell off moments before the crash. 9 people were killed in the crash. At least 3 others are missing. Osceola County parents tell us they are concerned about the district's decision to place ESE students into general classrooms. One parent tells News 6 her main concern is that the teachers need more training. School district leaders say teachers are getting help and they're well aware of parents' concerns. A section of Donnelly Street in Mount Dora is still closed, but the city is on the road to recovery. Historic rain washed it out a little more than a week ago. Since the governor has declared a state of emergency, crews have completed some of the restoration work. Right now, the mayor says they're in the process of figuring out how to rebuild that road.
There is new movement happening in the case against a 15-year-old accused of killing a teen who bumped into him at school. An attorney is working to get the teen out of jail. Now, the shooting happened after school at Vote Mellon Park in Orlando last month. News 6's Mark Lehman shares what he's learning.
While in court, the state said they were prepared to present evidence supporting their motion to keep the suspect in jail. But now a new attorney is representing the 15-year-old, and he said more time is needed to argue for his release.
So the defense is asking to continue the pretrial detention hearing.
15-year-old Ja'Cory Redding was not in court on Wednesday, but his new attorney was. The attorney convinced a judge to delay a discussion about if his client should remain behind bars while awaiting trial. Redding faces manslaughter charges and is now being tried as an adult in the shooting death of 16-year-old Pinyon Dalmasy. According to Orange County deputies, Redding shot the victim on a basketball court hours after a confrontation in a hallway at Oak Ridge High School.
Earlier in the day, that Ja'Cory had bumped into Pinyon on school campus and had asked or told Pinyon or told Ja'Cory to apologize. He would not.
Deputies say Redding ran back to Oak Ridge High and was found in the cafeteria with a gun in his backpack. In the motion for pretrial detention, prosecutors say Redding has a record of 39 discipline incidents with the Orange County School District, including 17 for physical altercations. The state arguing he should stay in jail because of that and his criminal history, which includes charges of grand theft of a motor vehicle, which he was out on bond for at the time of the shooting. As the defense is preparing for the now delayed hearing, Redding is expected in front of a judge Monday for an in-jail arraignment. The motion for pre-trial detention is expected to be addressed next Wednesday at 9 in the morning. In Orlando, Mark Lehman, News 6.
There is still a lot of uncertainty about when families will finally get their SNAP food benefits during the government shutdown. It is now in its 36th day, the longest in U.S. history, and an end does not appear to be in sight. Organizations are doing what they can, but demand for assistance has increased. Your Osceola County community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez is at Hope Partnership with what the nonprofit is seeing and how the county plans to help.
I'm here at Hope Partnership in Osceola County. It's a place many people turn to when they're in need, and now even more people are looking to the organization to figure out what's next.
I think we are seeing a lot of people who are very anxious.
Founder and CEO of Hope Partnership, Reverend Mary Downey, tells me funding cuts coupled with the government shutdown have created uncertainty.
What a lot of people don't understand is that the government shutdown affects a lot of our funding, not just SNAP benefits. Our HUD funding is currently in jeopardy as well. We don't know when the government's going to open back up, and so that means that we don't know what's next when it comes to how we're going to do a lot of our services.
Adding SNAP onto that has led to increased calls for help.
We're getting a lot of people calling just to ask, like, do you know if our benefits are going to be paid?
After initial confusion following a post by President Trump on Truth Social yesterday, the White House said partial payments will go out this month, but it's still not known just when that could happen. That's not the news the 24,000 people in Osceola County that receive SNAP benefits wanted to hear.
It's already such a low amount that people are receiving when it comes to SNAP benefits, and so to cut them in half, I mean, sure, it's something, but it's not going to be enough.
While it's still unclear when the federal government will provide any funding, Osceola County is ready to step up. On Monday, commissioners set aside $1 million for area food banks. That money will be distributed as needed if the government shutdown continues. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
And it's not just nonprofits stepping in to help families going without SNAP. Your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, checked out a business that's also trying to fill the gap.
As many people in Central Florida face uncertainty surrounding benefits such as SNAP during the government shutdown, a local restaurant here in Umatilla is stepping up and giving away free food to kids who need it.
The Mason Jar in Umatilla is collecting donations to make sure kids don't go hungry while the government remains shut down. Justin Scamardo is the owner of the Mason Jar and says in 4 days they raised $1,600 to make pre-packed lunches for kids. To get a bag lunch, the restaurant shared this post on social media saying to come in and ask for a Mason Jar bag. The post says you can get one for every child present every day, no questions asked, and no purchase necessary until SNAP benefits are restored in Florida.
You know, we're a restaurant, we're part of this community. My philosophy on hospitality is if you can help, you should help. So we've been blessed, we're in a position to help people. It felt like a no-brainer.
So what's in the bag of food from the Mason Jar? Well, we can show you right here. It comes with a bag of chips. There's also a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in here, as well as some juice and a little fudge round. To find out how you can help support the Mason Jar and giving back to the community during this time, we put more information inside this article on clickorlando.com. Reporting in Lake County, I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
Now, if you or someone you know needs help with food, we posted a list of programs near you. Just search for this story on clickorlando.com. We actually learned about the restaurant giving out free meals to kids from a tip sent to us. Now, while you're on clickorlando.com or the News 6 app, click Contact Us and let us know how we can help.
A handful of key Election Day races brought big wins for the Democratic Party across the country. New York City's race for mayor drew the largest turnout in more than 50 years. 34-year-old Zohran Mamdani beat career politician Andrew Cuomo with an ambitious promise to make the city more affordable. The self-described Democratic Socialist will be the city's first Muslim mayor and is promising to stand up to President Trump.
When I speak about Trump-proofing this city, I speak about protecting those with the least from the consequences of a man with the most power in this country.
In California, voters approved Proposition 50. The measure redraws the state's congressional map to flip as many as 5 U.S. House seats from red to blue. The move counters Texas redistricting. Democrats also won in New Jersey, where Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill beat a Republican backed by President Trump. And in Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger will become the state's first female governor. President Trump says the election was not good for Republicans and that the government shutdown was a big negative for the party.
A big company is shutting down its Central Florida plant, impacting more than 450 employees. PepsiCo Foods USA announced it is closing the Frito-Lay plant near Silver Star Road and John Young Parkway. The company says the decision was driven by business needs. Pepsi says workers will get transition assistance, career support, and pay and benefits through the process. We're also learning 46 employees will lose their jobs at the smaller Frito-Lay location on Park Oaks Avenue. That's right off Princeton Street and John Young Parkway.
In the eye of the storm, a Central Florida woman rode out Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica and is now working to raise awareness about the damage done to the island and its long path to recovery. Your West Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton, spoke with the woman who is working to make sure Jamaica is not forgotten.
This woman tells me she's thankful to be back home, but she's still thinking about all the damage that was left in Jamaica after it was hit by Hurricane Melissa and those who were impacted by it.
I thought for the first 2 hours of the storm, I thought I was gonna die.
Bracing for cover when Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica.
Sounds were so intense. The winds were so loud, it sounded like thunder.
Elise Lugo and her partner traveled to the island for a romantic getaway. So y'all planned this trip to Jamaica during hurricane season. Were there second thoughts?
No. You know, being from Florida, you hear hurricanes coming, last minute, oh, it made a turn, it's not coming.
However, the storm continued to grow and did not turn, slamming into the island as a powerful Category 5. Now, a week later, cleanup is still underway. Eventually, Elise made it back to Orlando.
Oh, look at that roof.
But not before leaving something behind.
We gave them the rest of our cash. We gave them our clothes from our suitcases because we didn't need them coming back.
Now with her journey home complete, Elise still thinks back to the island, hoping her story will keep the focus on Jamaica's journey to recovery. And Elise says she really saw people in Jamaica come together and be able to lean on one another through this difficult time. And she hopes more help comes soon so they can recover fast. Reporting, I'm your West Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton.
Well, it is an iconic spot in Central Florida, known for its famous roast beef sandwiches.
Yeah, we're taking you inside one of the longest running restaurants here in Central Florida on the I-4 food tour. That's next.
Nice quiet night tonight. We do have a few clouds trying to increase, may block some viewing of the supermoon this evening. We'll talk much more about when those clouds get out of here and when the temperatures plummet getting into next week in a few minutes.
And as we head to break, we want to remind you to check out our primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. We have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Then go in depth as we answer your weather questions at 9:30. And you can also watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. The FAA is announcing a 10% reduction in airline traffic across 40 U.S. high-traffic markets. The markets impacted are not yet clear. This comes a day after U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned some U.S. airspace areas could close if the shutdown continues into next week. It's all in relation to issues with air traffic controllers during the government shutdown. We'll continue to monitor this and bring you updates throughout the evening.
I've never had an onion ring in my life. Today we're at one of the longest running restaurants in Orlando. 3 generations ago they opened their doors in 1968. I think they were serving pterodactyl back then. It's Beefy King. on the I-4 food tour. And as always, if you're gonna cruise the I-4 food scene, you've gotta do it in an RV from Giant Recreation World.
We go through probably 13 roasts a day.
Beefy King on Bumby Avenue is the last of its kind. A franchise that outlived all the others. Not because of flashy marketing and slick decor, but because of customer loyalty, a family with grit, and sandwiches that stand the test of time.
Okay, so this is a number 6, it's pastrami's. She comes almost every morning. As soon as they pull up, we know to get some carrots ready for Miss Kitty.
It looks awesome and it smells awesome. That's just a classic steak sandwich. The cheese is great.
So we're just steaming it. There's 4 little holes. It goes through and steams it all until perfection. And
It's real beef, not some pressed deli meat. The cheese is gone. It's just melted completely into it.
the sliced meat are the only ones that we use the lids for because we want to like get the juices in.
The bread's good. The cheese is good. This one has ham. The ham is good. Smoky, salty. Piggy.
There's definitely an art to it. You don't want to over steam the roll for sure.
Bread, cheese, meat, and steam. Beefy King is a reminder that simplicity sells, quality matters, and onion rings aren't that bad. But I don't hate them. I thought I would hate them. I don't hate them. All right. Yep. I eat onion rings now, Mom.
Sponsored by Giant Recreation World. Visit Giant Recreation World today.
Is he new to Earth?
I was going to say, yeah. Did he
Never
just say
had
what
an
I just
onion ring?
I love what, I mean, 50 years, more than 50 years, and people love that
it looks
place.
so good.
Keep it
fantastic.
simple. I remember, you know, several years ago when there was a fire there and the outpouring of support from the community.
It's a staple.
It certainly is.
I have not been there yet,
You
though.
gotta go.
Well, now I really want
Yeah.
to, honestly.
Get
All
some
right.
onion rings.
Yeah.
No question.
That's a
Gotta get 'em.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jonathan, how's it looking out there?
Very, very nice if you're heading out this evening. We will see a few extra clouds try to push back into parts of Central Florida, especially south of Orlando. This is a live look in downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Skycam. The puffy ones will go down as soon as the sun goes down tonight. If you want to stay up to date with the forecast, that there are several changes coming over the next 7 to 10 days. Download that free News 6 weather app right there. The entire forecast right in the palm of your hand. You can also submit photos in the Pin It section. If you catch a picture of the near full moon tonight, the Beaver Moon, send it our way. We'll show it tonight at 11 o'clock. Back to the upper 70s right now with those clouds pushing in by the airport. We're back to the easterly breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, same ballpark as this morning, right where we should be for this time of the year. So some may need a light jacket, but it's not going to be anything crazy. Certainly not like Monday morning and certainly not like what's coming early next work week. 61 degrees in Leesburg. We're hanging around 61 in Orlando tomorrow morning, 63 in New Smyrna Beach. Now here's a look at the afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Ramjack.
High temperatures tomorrow get back into the lower 80s. We'll see a few extra clouds come through. Big chunk of high pressure going to help to pump up our temperatures over the next couple of days right on through the weekend. But a major pattern change is coming. You see this big bowling ball type weather system here as we look in the mid to upper levels of our atmosphere. This giant dip in the jet stream over the eastern 2/3 of the country. That is going to send unseasonably cold air right on down the Mississippi River and points to the east. It's going to be pretty warm out to the west. If you do want to catch a warm up, head in that direction, but that chill is going to settle in. As we wake up on Tuesday morning, we'll start to feel it on Monday afternoon. Crazy ride in the temperature department, though. By Sunday afternoon, we'll see temperatures top out in the mid to upper 80s. By Tuesday morning, we're going to wake up into the mid 40s, and some of us will be into the upper 30s. So a 40-ish degree drop in temperatures from the afternoon on Sunday by the time you wake up on Tuesday morning. And this is what we're expecting again. Air temperatures into the upper 30s, sneaking in to areas northwest of high forests. We're talking mid to upper 30s possible in Ocala, in Denellen. That would be good enough for us a little bit of frost to develop as well. We're talking about frost already, 38 in the Villages on Tuesday morning, 42 in Palm Coast. Again, it is going to be quite chilly over the next couple of days. If you don't like this stuff, the positive is that this is going to continue to help to cool the water temperatures near the state of Florida. No new development expected on the tropical front, and with these strong fronts, it will keep everything suppressed as well. That's over the next 7 days. Showed you this yesterday, but if you missed it, Climate Prediction Center also came out with their long-range guidance here, November 12th to the 25th of November. No development expected. There's still some wild stuff being shared out there that has the GFS model. If you've watched News 6, and I hope you do, you know my thoughts on all that. Just stay off social media. There's nothing going to develop. I think the hurricane season is over, so just be careful what's out there. There's some things even in the Central Florida market that are going around. We're good, guys. We are good. 82 degrees on Friday, back to the middle 80s on Saturday and Sunday. And then there's the drop, mid-70s on Monday. That's when the front slices through. We're waking up in the 30s and 40s on Tuesday morning.
Get out your earmuffs, Jonathan. Thank you. Open your camera app, scan the QR code on your screen right now, and click the link. We want to see your weather pictures and videos. They could end up on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way. An 86-year-old woman is proving the sky is definitely not the limit.
Coming up, how she is set to achieve her dream when it comes to the number of times she has gone skydiving.
Plus, why more kids are playing ice hockey here in sunny and hot Florida. As we take a live look at Mount Dora, you're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, if you're thinking about taking a cruise, you are not alone.
Why the business boom at sea keeps growing and the best time to book to try to save some cash.
Plus, counting down to a big announcement in Florida politics.
We'll see you for News 6 mornings starting at 6.
A sport closely associated with the frigid climates up north and in Canada is gaining traction right here in sunny Florida.
We are talking about ice hockey. This year's NHL final was the 6th year in a row featuring a team from Florida. While Florida's sunny image puts it at odds with the traditional ice hockey hub, leaders with the Florida Panthers say the growth is undeniable. The team even has a Learn to Play program, which introduces kids to the sport, and it breaks down the financial barriers.
The last 5 years alone, boys hockey's grown 48%, our youth boys. Girls has grown 63%. Here in South Florida, what people consider a non-hockey community, we have over 1,000 kids starting our game.
Since the Panthers won their first cup, totally. Everyone's starting to get more excited and more inspired to play.
I've seen a big change with the Orlando Solar Bears as well here in Central Florida. The Florida Panthers Learn to Play program offers kids ages 5 to 9 the chance to try hockey through a 6-week program, and they get to keep the equipment once it is over. I know a lot of parents like it too because it's indoor and cool during the summertime.
For sure. Well, this Florida woman is proving the sky is definitely not the limit when it comes to achieving your dream, regardless of your age. Last month, the 86-year-old went skydiving, and if you think that's impressive, this was definitely not her first time. Okay, so you heard right. That was her 999th time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so she made her first jump in 1959 when she was just 18 years old. She stepped away from the sport in 1967 to raise her family, but later returned to the sky in 2003. That's when she set a new goal of reaching 1,000 jumps. She plans to reach that milestone along with her family tomorrow in Lake Wales. Once she achieves her goal, she will earn the United States Parachute Association gold wings.
Good for her.
That is crazy. If you've not been skydiving before and you went for the next 1,000 days to catch up with her record, you'd have to do it for more than 2.5 years.
That's crazy. I do not plan to beat her record.
Every day, yeah,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
News 6 at 5 is up next.
Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead.
2.5 years and a lot of money later. That would cost quite a bit, too. Hey, we're following some breaking news. This just into our newsroom in the last half hour. The FAA is cutting flights to some of the nation's biggest airlines. We're going to break down what we know so far. And the new proposed development coming to a prime piece of real estate in Seminole County. And your forecast is only minutes away. It's looking good out there. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this pretty look at Daytona Beach for free anytime on News 6 Plus. We'll be right back.
Now at 5, work to fully repair all the storm damage from last week's rain in Lake County is going to take some time. We're looking at what's being done right now. And later, how much would you pay to have your best friend by your side forever? The concerns some are raising over pet cloning. You're watching News 6 at 5.
We begin with major breaking news. The FAA announcing a 10% reduction in air travel at 40 of the busiest airports in the country starting this Friday. Officials say this is due to the ongoing government shutdown, which has led to a number of air traffic controllers to call out of work. We are continuing to try and figure out if Orlando International Airport is among those 40 airports impacted. But even if it is not, airports you may be planning to fly to could be affected.
We have decided that a 10% reduction in scheduled capacity would be appropriate to, again, continue to take the pressure off of our controllers. And as we continue to see staffing triggers, there will be additional measures that will be taken in those specific markets.
Make sure you have our News 6 app to get the most up-to-date information about this shutdown-related air travel reduction. We'll have much more on this coming up for you on News 6 at 6.
Well, in the 10 days since more than 1.5 feet of rain fell in Lake County, your Lake County community correspondent Emily McLeod has been all over. She's checked in on the people dealing with the washouts in their backyards. She's spoken to concerned business owners, and she's helped to amplify the voices of homeowners in one neighborhood evacuated from their homes. And of course, the roads.
But there were some noticeable changes on Donnelly Street in Mount Dora since Governor DeSantis declared a state of emergency a week ago. Workers from the Florida Department of Transportation have completed some restoration efforts on Donnelly Street.
So Emily continues her coverage tonight of that historic rainfall with a look at what's next for the city and the repairs on Donnelly Street.
Now, even though this section of Donnelly you see behind me remains closed, the city is still on the road to recovery. I was up here on Tuesday and I noticed this section of Donnelly where the washout happened, it looked noticeably different where some areas had been filled in. So I decided to come up here and talk to Mount Dora Mayor James Homage to see where things stand on this project.
They had 2 backhoes, dump trucks, the whole front end loaders. They had them all there and started to clean up the mess we had.
This is what Donnelly Street looked like after it was washed out from historic rainfall in late October. And now a lot of the damage has been filled in a little more than a week later. Mount Dora Mayor James Homage says once Governor Ron DeSantis signed this emergency declaration, the Florida Department of Transportation was able to bring in their equipment. What was the purpose of filling that in, just preventing further damage?
Well, there's a lot of utilities that run through there, fiber cable, sewer, other lines that just are vital to the city. So they had to stabilize all of the utilities and go from there.
On Monday, the city also sent out some information saying it's currently installing utilities and speeding up the design and engineering phase on Donnelly Street. The city says FDOT is helping Mount Dora obtain a certification that will make the city eligible to receive grant funding for the reconstruction project.
We end up with, rebuilding it and then looking for reimbursement from the federal government highway funds.
Mayor Homage says they have 2 engineers on site for this project, one with the city and one with the Florida Department of Transportation. He says so far early estimates for the cost of this project are sitting around $5 million, but adds they have not seen anything yet from engineers on this project. Now, as a reminder, you can still get around Mount Dora and get to downtown Mount Dora, even though this section of Donnelly is still shut down for alternate routes. We've got some of those posted over on clickorlando.com. For now, reporting in Mount Dora, I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
In the last 2 hours, the black boxes from the UPS cargo plane that crashed during takeoff in Louisville have been recovered. 9 people are confirmed dead in this. 28 members of the NTSB arrived at Louisville's International Airport today to start their investigation into what went wrong. Investigators say so far, they know the plane's left wing caught fire. They say security footage reviewed so far shows the plane's left engine actually falls off during takeoff. Horrific video then shows the plane exploding into flames shortly after leaving the runway. The plane hit a nearby petroleum recycling plant and an auto parts facility. With 38,000 gallons of fuel on board, that fire raged overnight, destroying much of the plane.
On behalf of the entire NTSB,
I want to just express our sincere condolences to those who were not only affected by losing family members in this accident, but those that were also injured and those that are still missing. It is a tough day for Louisville, for Kentucky. It's a tough day as being a Kentuckian myself.
Officials say this tragedy could have been worse, as many of the employees had already left those businesses before the crash. Kentucky's governor says the state's disaster relief fund is set up to help victims' families, including paying for funerals. 3 crew members were on board. The airport has reopened one runway. A shelter-in-place order is down to about a quarter of a mile right now, radius around that crash site. And officials are monitoring the water and air quality in the area.
Out of the 3 Orlando commissioner races last night, perhaps none had the type of drama that we saw in District 5, where interim commissioner Shan Rose emerged victorious, fending off the woman who used to hold her seat, former Commissioner Regina Hill. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti joins us now live outside City Hall. And Mike, this race at times got a little ugly.
Yeah, Lisa, it did. This was a field of 3 candidates, but most of the attention was paid to Regina Hill and Shan Rose, duking it out over a seat that in the end proved to be barely competitive.
Commissioner Shan Rose retaining her seat Tuesday, beating embattled challenger Regina Hill by nearly 20 percentage points.
You serve the district, the results speak for themselves, and that's what I've been doing.
And despite her decisive defeat, former Commissioner Regina Hill vowed to keep fighting.
We are asking for a recount.
In the state of Florida, a candidate does not have the authority to request a recount. Now, Hill has been a controversial figure in local politics, suspended by Governor Ron DeSantis in 2024 following her arrest on charges of exploiting an elderly person. Hill has maintained her innocence, and her case has yet to go to trial.
In the end, it was about scandals and allegations of scandals, I think, is what, pretty much decided this race.
Aubrey Jewett is a political science professor at UCF.
When it came to a lot of voters' choices, I think it was more on personal leadership and who did they think they could trust.
So Shan Rose says her priorities for her next term include pushing affordable housing projects and trying to reduce crime in downtown Orlando. So while Rose survived as an incumbent, one of her colleagues was ousted last night. We'll tell you more about District 1 and that race coming up tonight at 6. For now, we're live downtown City Hall. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Thank you, Mike. There were 2 other seats on Orlando City Council that were voted on last night. The elections process isn't over in Orlando's 3rd district, which includes Rosemont, College Park, Spring Lake, Audubon Park, Baldwin Park. No candidates got at least half the votes, so the top 2 vote getters, Roger Chapin and Miritana, will head to a runoff election. That'll happen December 9th, 5 weeks from yesterday. The winner will replace Commissioner Robert Stewart. He held the seat for nearly 20 years before retiring this year. And in Orlando's 1st district, former state rep Tom Keene unseated incumbent Commissioner Jim Gray, winning by more than 20 points. His soon-to-be district covers Lee Vista, Lake Nona, Sunbridge. Like Mike said, he'll have more analysis on what some consider a surprising result there ahead at 6 o'clock. For more elections results from across the 4 central Florida counties that had races and ballot measures to vote on this year, you can head to clickorlando.com.
Right where the 417, 429, and International Parkway meet in Seminole County lies a piece of land. We're talking about 18 acres in a prime spot. It is vacant right now, but we're learning a mixed-use development project could bring new retail, commercial space, and housing to an area that continues to grow. Your Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silver joins us now live. And Catherine, you're looking at the plans for that area.
Yes, so the working name is Piedmont Town Park, and the first thing that you need to know is that this project is in the very early stages, but we are seeing what this property that's just south of the 417 and along International Parkway could look like in the future. These are preliminary plans for what would become Piedmont Town Park. There's space for a grocery store, 12,600 square feet of retail space, a gym and restaurant, and behind that, room for a 300-plus multifamily housing unit with a parking garage. Before the county gets close to approving a project like this, they have to look at everything from planning to environmental impacts to traffic. Some of that was discussed at a meeting here.
It'll be Class A luxury, multifamily housing with state-of-the-art amenities and condo quality finishes.
We got to hear an overview of the project straight from the applicants.
Essentially, we're proposing a multi-use project, filling up all of the 18 or so acres.
For this level of project, we'll probably need a pretty detailed traffic study on that.
What do you think of these plans?
I think with every condo comes 2 cars.
Pat Karakouche and Fred Petito live in nearby Heathrow and have watched this area expand with office space, the existing Colonial Town Center, and the apartment buildings that are already lining International Parkway, which has 4 lanes for cars to travel. This summer, we learned there are also preliminary plans for a 21-acre multifamily residential development on a site just north of Piedmont Town Park.
So along with business development, you have to have road development, utility development, all those peripherals that are necessary to run the businesses that are ideally coming in to add to our community. As long as it's adding to the community, it's great. When it starts interfering with the community, then we've got an issue.
Remember, we told you this project is just getting started, and the meeting that was held here today was simply a pre-application meeting, which means there are a lot more steps ahead. We'll be sure to keep you updated. For now, I'm live in Seminole County. Catherine Silver, News 6.
Catherine, thank you. Still to come, how much growth is too much at one of the world's busiest ports? Next at 5, the concern some have that too many cruises could be impacting their way of life. Jonathan.
Very nice evening out there tonight. I think we'll see a few more clouds passing by through the rest of tonight as our warming trend continues through the weekend. And then temperatures fall off a cliff getting into next week. We're going to pinpoint the wild swings in the temperature department at about 517.
Today's Port Canaveral Cam is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
If you're just joining us, the Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and officials with the FAA announcing a 10% reduction in air travel across 40 of the busiest airports in the U.S. A list of the impacted markets is expected to be released tomorrow. The reduction is expected to begin Friday. Duffy said the government shutdown is greatly impacting air traffic controllers. There's already a shortage of about 2,000 controllers nationwide. We have a crew headed to Orlando International Airport to get some answers on this. We'll have more coming up on News 6 at 6.
Taking a live look now at our Launch Credit Union Port Cam at Port Canaveral. A disconnect between what's become one of Central Florida's largest economic engines and the city it calls home. Cape Canaveral's mayor says locals are getting fed up with about 1 million visitors every month now who go on a cruise at Port Canaveral.
As the city talks more about the strain on infrastructure, the port itself is celebrating what's expecting to be another record year in revenue. Your Cape Canaveral community correspondent James Sparvero is inside today's State of the Port address.
It's expected to be another record-breaking year for the number of cruise passengers sailing out of Port Canaveral. At the annual State of the Port address inside Terminal 10 this year, Captain John Murray says the port's expected to welcome more than 9 million guests in the next 12 months.
27% of cruise passengers spend at least one night in a local hotel. That's helpful to our local economy.
But as exciting as that is for the port and for our visitors, the port's growth since the end of the COVID-19 shutdown isn't everyone's favorite news.
It's reached a breaking point that I'm sensing in the community.
Mayor Wes Morrison talked about Cape Canaveral's challenges handling the port's popularity. A town hall meeting I went to Tuesday at City Hall was about the Brevard County School District possibly closing the city's only school because of low enrollment. The mayor said if Cape View Elementary closed, the city would effectively lose its identity as its own community and become just a resort town.
From traffic, from safety, from the transient population, and it's caused a lot of stress on this community.
Before, it wasn't really touristy. This is just where the locals came to fish.
A fisherman here since the 70s, Greg Goff remembers a time before hotels and the world's largest cruise ships made up the port's skyline. Unlike some other locals I've talked to in the past years, though, he thinks the port has grown responsibly. It feels like, Greg, being here as long as you have, that you really got your finger on the pulse for how the locals may feel about how the port's changed. I know it's not all positive. People do have concerns about growth, right?
I'm sure there are people out there that do, but that's just reality. That's the way it is. Everything grows. I don't have a problem with it as long as we still have access to the facilities, access to the fishing, and everything's clean and maintained and not polluted.
During the State of the Port also showed an update modifying Cruise Terminal 5 so it can handle the largest ships the port has to offer. And they also talked a little more about being in the planning stages of an entirely new cruise terminal. That is still planned for over there in the Marina District. In Brevard County, I'm your Cape Canaveral community correspondent James Sparvero, News 6.
Absolutely fantastic evening coming our way again. Clear skies at the beach. Live look now in Daytona Beach as we're watching the sun get ready to go below the horizon this evening. Just a few clouds out there. I think we will see more clouds stream in throughout the course of the evening tonight, more so than what we had last night. But the big moon, full moon, should shine right through those. You can track the forecast by downloading the free News 6 weather app. And if you see the supermoon tonight, snap a picture. You can upload it right on the app, and we can showcase that tonight coming up on News 6 at 11 o'clock. Clouds and rain forecast for this evening. We are dry, but notice again as we go forward into the evening, we're going to see some of that cloud cover try to stream up from the south and west. I think most of this, though, does come in as we go through the morning hours of tomorrow. No rain threat early in the day, but as we get into the afternoon, we might be able to wring out a shower or two, mainly along and southeast of I-4. The air is still very dry. If you've been outside, you know that. So a lot of that's going to evaporate before it reaches the ground. But there's 8 o'clock on Thursday. You see future radar picking up on a little bit of that green as we tap into some of that Gulf moisture again to help kind of bring in that extra somewhat tropical moisture across Central Florida. 79 degrees right now in Mount Dora at Leesburg. Good evening. We are at 79. Wildwood, we've just fallen to 73. Daytona Beach, we are at 75 degrees. Now, tomorrow morning, things should be quiet. I think we'll see a few extra clouds in our sky, but all should be good weather-wise. We'll wake up to air temperatures pretty similar to what we woke up to this morning. So you may want the light jacket for some, but we are right on par with where we should be for this time of the year. We're in the mid-60s in Kissimmee, Holopah. Good evening. We're starting off our day tomorrow, Thursday, at 63 degrees. Now here's a look at the afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Payne Law.
Very nice day tomorrow, although I do think we'll see the most cloud cover that we've seen so far this week during the day. 80 degrees in Leesburg. DeLand, we're at 79 tomorrow. Titusville, we'll check in tomorrow afternoon right around 80 degrees. And then we will continue to warm things up a little bit. This is a wild 7-day stretch here in terms of the temperature. There's 85 on Saturday. Once we get to Sunday, a little bit warmer, mid to upper 80s. So a few notches above where we should be for this time of the year. And then the cold front slices through Monday. That takes high temperatures back to the mid-70s on Monday afternoon. By Tuesday, highs will struggle to get out of the low to mid-60s area-wide, and we'll keep things below average as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Before that high temperature of 65 on Tuesday, we're talking about air temperatures starting off in the 40s for most of Central Florida, with a few 30s sprinkled back in northwest of I-4. So it is going to be quite cold early next work week. Nice and quiet, though, through the weekend, and then there's that chill arriving by Monday evening. We'll be right back.
Well, the state could soon give final approval to expand oyster harvesting in a limited capacity. FWC is set to discuss an oyster harvesting season and part of the Apalachicola Bay, which is along the Gulf Coast here, and halfway between Panama City Beach and Tallahassee. But have you ever stopped to think what happens to all those oyster shells after you eat them for dinner?
News 6's Paul Giorgio learned about a program using restaurant waste to help restore oyster populations in the Indian River Lagoon.
It's happy hour at Oyster Shooters in Cocoa Village.
It's a lot of fun.
Chris Dickman is behind the bar.
Anything that brings people around a table, I'm happy about.
He's got strong wrists.
Yeah, you gotta get the leverage. Some are easy, some are not.
And a love for his craft.
Take the knife through up.
He'll need both.
Our main oyster is a Virginia Purcell, and we go through a lot of them.
I like mine on a saltine with some cocktail sauce.
The restaurant sells about 6,000 of these things a week.
The greatest thing about this place is they have so many different types of oysters.
And what's left plates full of shells.
Exactly.
It seems Brevard County loves their oysters.
I personally don't eat too many oysters. I'm not a big shellfish person.
Well, maybe not everyone.
Got lots of shells in here, and then we got some maggots and things too.
And that might be because Hosanna Owen spends her days collecting those leftover shells
We got our gloves to keep us clean.
and everything that goes along with them. But trust me, she appreciates them for a different reason.
This bin is about 400 pounds of shell.
She's the Conservation Restoration Coordinator for Brevard Zoo's
So we're just gonna switch these guys out.
Shuck and Share program. Once a week, she treks across the county, hitting seafood restaurants to pick up bins filled with shell.
So we build oyster reef using these oyster shells, so it's kind of a full circle. Oysters are gregarious, which means they like to live on top of each other.
Next, they're off to a quarantine site where they'll dry in the sun. Worldwide, oyster populations have declined by 85%. Our Indian River Lagoon is no different. Because of overharvesting and pollution, there isn't enough substrate or generational shell debris on the river bottom to sustain the amount of repopulation scientists want to see.
Where will these go from here?
Yeah, so after at least a 90-day quarantine process, we will pick them up, we will take it out into the Indian River Lagoon and put it into the lagoon for it to have its forever home.
In the 10 years since the program started, they've collected 8 million pounds of oyster shells, putting them back in the river and keeping them out of the landfill.
It's a polarizing food.
Back at the restaurant,
You like them, you don't.
you can get oysters from around the country, but none from the river just blocks away. Dickman hopes one day the Shuck and Share program might change that.
I know the water quality of our Indian River Lagoon, and anything we can do to pretty much make that better, I'm all for it.
And it may be as simple as eating more oysters. In Cocoa, Paul Giorgio, News 6.
After the break, we are taking concerns that parents in one school district have about classroom tensions right to the superintendent. Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We are following some breaking news right now.
The FAA is cutting 10% of flights across 40 of the busiest airports in the country. Officials say this is due to the ongoing government shutdown, which has led to a number of air traffic controllers to call out of work. The list of the 40 impacted airports is expected to be released tomorrow. The reduction begins on Friday.
A section of Donnelly Street in Mount Dora is still closed, but the city says it's on the road to recovery. Historic rain washed it out a little more than a week ago. Since the governor has declared a state of emergency, crews have completed some of the restoration work. Right now, the mayor says they're in the process of figuring out how to rebuild that road. In Orlando's District 5 race, interim Commissioner Shan Rose won against Regina Hill by nearly 20 percentage points. Former Commissioner Regina Hill has been a controversial figure in local politics, suspended by Governor Ron DeSantis following her arrest on charges of exploiting an elderly person. Shan Rose says her priorities for the next term include pushing affordable housing projects and reducing crime.
Classroom concerns boiling over. A change in student class assignments has parents in one district speaking out. Your Osceola County community correspondent Laverne McGee is in Kissimmee, where she took those concerns directly to the superintendent.
For weeks, we've been hearing about parents concerned about Osceola County's decision to place exceptional student education students, also known as ESE students, into general classrooms, with many saying it's causing problems for some students, teachers, and parents.
He has ADHD, diagnosed at 3. At 5, he was diagnosed with ASD, autism. He's on the higher end of the spectrum.
Jacqueline Cruz's son has autism. He's in 2nd grade and has been in an Osceola County school for 5 years. This year, the district integrated the ESE inclusion program with the general classrooms. Cruz says she's seen some concerning changes in her son and believes that some teachers need more training when it comes to exceptional student education for kids with disabilities.
The students need more help and the teachers need more help.
Osceola County School District says it's well aware of parents' concerns, including Cruz's, but stand by the program.
Now we're actually serving students in the environment in which they're supposed to be served. We weren't before.
On Wednesday, Osceola County School District hosted the 2025 State of Education event, where the school encouraged parent feedback on all initiatives. Superintendent Dr. Mark Shanoff shared district's 5 key strategic plan focus areas: engagement, alignment, community, achievement, and culture. We brought Cruz's concerns forward and found out they're already being addressed.
We've been extremely responsive to all the concerns that have come in. I don't think that there's a concern that hasn't been conveyed to the district that we haven't personally addressed.
Cruz's main concern is that the teachers are properly trained.
Because if the teachers help, then the students are helped.
The district says the teachers are getting help, and it will continue to watch for progress. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Laverne McGee, News 6.
2 young men could be put to death in the killing of a teen last month. 15-year-old Kariah Duncan was shot and killed. 2 others were injured. The shooting happened on October 6th. The victims were waiting for a food order in their car outside Anchor's Seafood and Chicken on Clear Lake Road in Cocoa when a car pulled up and opened fire. 21-year-old John Terich Smith was later arrested that week, and today he, along with 20-year-old Xavier Butler, were indicted on charges of first-degree murder with a firearm and 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Butler is still on the loose. This is a mugshot from a prior arrest. A 3rd suspect is also accused of opening fire on the car. He has not been identified yet.
Now at 5, a Central Florida woman rode out Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica and is now working to raise awareness about the damage done to the island and its long path to recovery. Your West Orange County community correspondent Tylisa Hampton spoke with the woman who is working to make sure Jamaica is not forgotten.
This woman tells me she's thankful to be back home, but she's still thinking about all the damage that was left in Jamaica after it was hit by Hurricane Melissa and those who were impacted by it.
I thought for the first 2 hours of the storm, I thought I was going to die.
Bracing for cover when Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica.
Sounds were so intense. The winds were so loud, it sounded like thunder.
Elise Lugo and her partner traveled to the island for a romantic getaway. So y'all planned this trip to Jamaica during hurricane season. Were there second thoughts?
No. Being from Florida, you hear hurricanes coming, last minute, oh, it made a turn, it's not coming.
However, the storm continued to grow and did not turn, slamming into the island as a powerful Category 5. Now, a week later, cleanup is still underway. Eventually, Elise made it back to Orlando.
Oh
look at that roof.
But not before leaving something behind.
We gave them the rest of our cash. We gave them our clothes from our suitcases because we didn't need them coming back.
Now with her journey home complete, Elise still thinks back to the island, hoping her story will keep the focus on Jamaica's journey to recovery. And Elise says she really saw people in Jamaica come together and be able to lean on one another through this difficult time. And she hopes more help comes soon so they can recover fast. Reporting, I'm your West Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton.
Earlier this hour, we talked about some of the local elections that took part in Central Florida yesterday. There weren't just surprises at Central Florida polls, but across the country as well.
Yeah, a push by California's Democratic governor to redistrict the state's House seats won with more than 60% of the vote. Democrats also won the race for governor in both New Jersey and Virginia. I sat down with former Florida Congressman David Jolly, who is running for Florida governor as a Democrat today. He said yesterday's results prove voters nationwide are ready for change.
Change is here, and Florida's next. Florida's next. People are screaming for change. We're in the midst of an affordability crisis across the country. In Florida, it manifests itself through access to housing. Young people or families trying to afford rent. Longtime homeowners whose insurance bills have gone up. Utilities, where our own utility down in South Florida has requested the highest rate increase in American history, not Florida history. The price of car insurance is going up. The cost of getting to work is going up because of transportation. And so we have an affordability crisis that incumbents are not listening to.
Jolly will take on Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings in the Democratic primary for Florida governor next August.
Let's take a live look now at Daytona Beach. It is a gorgeous night out there. The city has really invested in new ways to keep the streets safe.
Earlier this year, police added extra security patrols in some of Daytona Beach's busiest areas, and now the city is considering extending that.
As your Volusia County community correspondent Angie Casada found, the people who live there say they're seeing a big difference.
Yeah, quick question. If something is working, then why change it, right? Well, that's what a lot of people are feeling here along Beach Street when it comes to that extra security patrol. And tonight, that meeting is going to be happening where they vote on extending this unarmed security program.
For months, unarmed security guards have been walking several parts of Daytona Beach's community redevelopment area, focused on Main Street, Beach Street, and the riverfront. They're not police, but they're trained to deter crime, report issues, and build community relationships, something residents say they appreciate the intention.
I think that the city is revitalizing, and I love to see that they're putting more security in place because it's a great town and this is a great area and people want to come and enjoy, you know, coming to downtown Daytona Beach and Beach Street and hang out with their family and feel safe.
Tonight, the CRA board will consider extending that program again, approving a third amendment to the contract with First Coast Security. The city says the goal is to keep streets more walkable and family-friendly and support local businesses. Small businesses like the Kale Cafe that have been around for years.
The more presence of security, we've seen a change. I was actually on, I think, maybe a pilot meeting to get the security officers down here, and that worked out really well. I'm in agreement with, just getting more foot traffic or, security.
If approved, the contract would climb to $134,000 and keep the extra patrols going in the CRA area.
So again, that meeting is at 6 o'clock tonight at City Hall. Of course, we'll bring you the latest from the meeting on air and over on clickorlando.com. Reporting in Daytona Beach, I'm your Volusia County community correspondent Angie Casada, News 6.
Taking a live look at Camping World Stadium from our Light Orlando delivering Hope Cam. It is going to be busy for the next couple of weeks in one of Central Florida's largest venues. The next 2 weekends will feature music festivals in downtown Orlando.
With thousands of people expected to be there, News 6 meteorologist Michelle Morgan is giving us a sneak peek at what you can expect.
Of course, and the weather is always important. Now, EDC Orlando begins Friday. It's one of the biggest music festivals in the country, and passes are already 95% sold out. News 6 was there today as crews put the final touches on the festival grounds at Tinker Field, outside of Camping World Stadium. You could see crews working on lighting and screens there. That main stage is always one of the main attractions. In years past, it was decorated as a giant owl, an ice castle, and even a church. Now, No word on what the final look will be for this year. And if you're planning on going to EDC at all, and of course I have that forecast, we are looking pretty good heading into your Friday. Mostly dry conditions. Temperatures will warm up nicely into the lower 80s. Heading into the weekend, even warmer, middle to upper 80s. So we'll certainly be above average with plenty of sunshine to go around, and rain chances minimal. It's also going to be busy there next weekend too, when the Vans Warped Tour returns. So as you take a look at that forecast, looking pretty good. It will be mainly dry, 79 degrees on Saturday, and heading into your Sunday with a few clouds around in the lower 80s. And of course, I'll have more things for you and your family to do this weekend on Friday.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Should pregnant women get priority parking? Find out why some are pushing back against a new state law. Jonathan.
We just saw the warm forecast this weekend, and then the following weekend, it's in between. That's where we have the chill. Big time blue on the screen there representing the colder than normal temperatures. We'll talk about how cold it gets in your neighborhood coming up at about 5:47.
And if you've ever owned a pet, you know they don't live long enough. It's just the case. The company that's looking to give you more time with your best friend and the concerns it's raising. Try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. Ginger and I have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight at 9. Go in-depth, track the tropics, answer your weather questions with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas at 9:30. Then you can watch the late news an hour early. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus.
And you can download our streaming app for free. Just search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. All new at 5, a new law meant to make life a little easier for moms-to-be is being challenged in court.
So according to a federal lawsuit, the measure is negatively impacting some who say they need help more.
News 6 anchor Ginger Gadsden joins us now live in studio to explain the controversy, Ginger.
Yeah, a lot of controversy with this one, Matt and Lisa. Disability rights advocates are challenging a new state law. It allows pregnant women to use handicap parking spaces. The measure was tucked into SB 462, a wide-ranging transportation package unanimously approved by the House and Senate. It was signed by Governor DeSantis back in June. The Expectant Mom parking permit allows a woman to get a disabled parking placard at any point during her pregnancy. The placard is $15 and it is good for 1 year. But women do need a note from their doctor confirming they are not pregnant. At this point, it's not clear how many women applied for and received the permits. But a federal lawsuit filed last week claims the permits violate the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act and other protections designed to ensure people with disabilities have access to places. The plaintiff, a Leon County woman who can only park in van-accessible spaces, says she faced significant challenges finding a place to park before the law took effect, and it has only gotten worse. The lawsuit says about 7% of Florida drivers have permanent parking permit issues because of a disability, and there are even more permits issued for temporary disabilities. But the number of handicap parking spaces required in lots ranging from 2 to 4% of spaces, with medical facilities requiring more. Yeah,
This prompted a lot of conversation in our newsroom.
And I'm glad you said that, because under current federal law, pregnancy is not considered a disability, but it's covered by discrimination protection. Women with complicated pregnancies have typically been able to get disabled parking permits if their doctors have found that they are in need of that. And a lot of people have been weighing in online about this issue. So we want to know what you think. Should expectant moms be able to park in spaces reserved for people with disabilities? Right now, most of you are saying no. And a number of you have been letting us know exactly what you think in the comment section. Lauren posted, as a 4-time pregnant woman with complications, no. And Cindy said, it's about time. So many have complications during pregnancy, and a lot of women are in pain. I can't express how hard it is for someone having complications to make the walk. Deborah was somewhere in the middle of this, though. She suggested making different parking spots so pregnant women don't need to use disabled parking, but have enough space to open their door. And you know, and I've seen them in other parking lots. You have spaces for veterans and also expectant moms.
Expectant moms are there, and that's something that maybe lawmakers could consider. People with disabilities who have a van that needs extra space on the side that their wheelchair, needs that extra space. They say if they can't have those spaces, they're not necessarily looking to park closer. They just need a space to get their wheelchair
to open it up.
And if they don't have that, they just can't go in.
What was news to me, and I found egregious, was that disabled people have to pay a fee, an additional fee to get that placard or to get the disabled parking on their license plate of $15 or more. Yeah.
I mean, whatever the price is, it
shouldn't be anything.
Some people
at all.
really need it. Interesting conversation, absolutely.
Oh, and that's not the end of it.
No, it is definitely not. Thank you very much, Ginger. All right, let's get you a check of your weather right now with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. Pretty clear radar tonight, huh?
Very nice and clear. Yeah, we are watching some clouds come in. Of course, radar looking for rain, and there's going to be none of that. We might see a few stray sprinkles try to sneak in here tomorrow. Showing you the clouds and rain forecast for tonight, even though it's going to be dry because the supermoon is out there. And if you snap a picture of it, I want to see your pictures. You can download the free News 6 weather app right there to search WKMG in your app store. You can upload the photo right there from the News 6 weather app, the free download, by the way, and then we can showcase them tonight at 11 o'clock. Should be bright enough to shine through some of the thin clouds that may try to push in here again, just like what we saw last night. There's 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, and I think we will see more clouds tomorrow through the afternoon. That's 1 o'clock on your Thursday afternoon, and even a few stray showers are going to be possible south and east of I-4. Only have it at 20% right now because I just think the air is too dry for a lot of these to reach the ground. We might see some radar returns if you pull up the News 6 weather app and you see some green on the radar. A lot of that might just evaporate before it reaches the ground. There's 11 o'clock on your Thursday and a stray sprinkle in the mix, again, along and southeast of I-4. Beautifully blue skies out there right now. That is a live look, Port Canaveral, Brevard County. With our launch credit union camera this evening, we're clear on the coast. Air temperatures back to the mid-70s. Under that mainly clear sky, the breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Good evening in Palm Coast. We are at 71. Bunnell, we're in the lower 70s as well. 75 in Groveland. Leesburg, good evening. We are back to 79. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Publix.
Pretty nice morning again tomorrow. Same ballpark as what we woke up to this morning. That's right where we should be for this time of the year. Average right around 60. We're in the upper 50s and lower 60s again across most of central Florida. Warmer along the Space Coast, of course, because of the warmer Atlantic Ocean very close to shore. Forecast high temperatures for your day tomorrow hanging around 80 degrees. And I showed you those clouds coming back into play. I think we're going to see more of those tomorrow with that stray shower along in southeast of I-4 as we tap into a little bit of that moisture. Everybody's going to tap into the Canadian chill coming in our direction as we get into Monday and really through the bulk of the upcoming work week, November 11th to the 15th. You see the dark blue on your screen there. That represents the high confidence for well below normal temperatures once we get into that period. So for us in Ocala, you see we're doing all right. Upper 50s, lower 60s next few days. Sunday, we're going to have a warm start to the day, a warm afternoon, and then the bottom drops out. Monday, we're back in the low 50s. There you go. Tuesday morning, we're talking mid to upper 30s. That's the actual air temperature. Still staying on the cold side again as we get into Wednesday and likely Thursday as well before we start to see things ramp back up in the temperature department again. Area-wide, widespread 40s. Most of us will be in the 40s. I think there will be a few 30s again as we just showed you there northwest of I-4. So it is going to get quite cold Monday evening through Tuesday and then likely Wednesday before we start to thaw back out again. 82 on Friday, very nice and on the warmer side for your weekend. Cold front comes through on Monday. That'll have temperatures in the low to mid 70s, and then the chill really settles in, guys, on Tuesday morning.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, it's so difficult to say goodbye to a beloved pet, but what if you never had to?
The company making that a reality and how much it would cost you.
So how much would you pay to never have to say goodbye to your pet? If you have the cash, it can happen.
We're talking Tom Brady cash. Tom Brady made headlines yesterday after announcing he cloned his late dog, and he is not alone. CBS's Joe Ling Kent is exploring this growing trend and the concerns some have about it.
I got a call today from the cloning people.
Many of us wish our pets could be with us forever.
It's been 10 months since Diamond Baby ran away. She was like my sister, my best friend.
Paris Hilton cloned her missing Chihuahua in 2023, producing 2 new puppies.
This is Diamond and Baby.
That same year, our Gayle King spoke with Barbara Streisand as they were interrupted by Miss Violet and Miss Scarlet, clones of Streisand's late canine, Samantha.
They're not the same because, as I said, you can't clone a soul. Sammy had her own soul.
And now football legend Tom Brady reveals to People magazine he's done the same, cloning his pit bull mix, Lua, who died in 2023, with biotech company Colossal Biosciences, in which Brady is an investor.
Meet Khaleesi.
Last year, Colossal says it used gene editing and cloning to create 3 pups of an extinct species, the dire wolf. To clone your pet, here's how it works. Your vet takes tissue samples and sends it to the lab. Embryos are created from the cells and implanted into a surrogate dog to carry it to term. According to research at Columbia University, the success rate is only about 20%. Bioethicist Jessica Pierce.
What worries me about cloning is that I feel like it's an industry that steps in and kind of preys on people's grief.
Pierce also said cloning preys on people's fear of losing their animal or their distress at having just lost their pet. We've reached out to Colossal for comment and have not heard back. In the meantime, PETA, the animal rights or advocacy organization, says the best way to honor your lost pet is to recognize that they are not replaceable and to adopt from a local shelter. Jolene Kent, CBS News, New York.
Wow, 20% is not a very high rate.
No, not at all.
That's a lot of money.
It's a big risk.
Yeah. Well, we know you're wondering about it. The price tag to clone your best friend? $50,000.
Yeah. A lot of money. Ginger Gadsden is in the newsroom with what we're working on for News 6 at 6.
And here's Matt's wallet. We're following breaking news. Weeks before the Thanksgiving travel rush, the FAA has made a major announcement about operations at dozens of high-traffic airports, when and where flights could be slashed due to the shutdown.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at 6 p.m.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Weeks before the Thanksgiving travel rush, the FAA is announcing 40 high-volume markets will see a 10% drop in air traffic. It all starts this Friday. The FAA says it is combating air traffic controller shortages caused by the government shutdown.
So we want to get you right out to Orlando International Airport. News 6's Jarrell Baker is there now. Jarrell, the FAA has not yet released the list of airports impacted here, so we're not sure if MCO is included.
Yeah, that's right. We did reach out to them just to see clarity on that. But in the meantime, looking at what the FAA administrator said, Brian Bedford, he says that this move is about safety and preventing a bigger crisis from down the line. And it's actually going to impact not only airports, but also some space travel. Now, Bedford says that across some of the high volume markets, they've seen a large amount of fatigue, and that's stemming from the beginning of the government shutdown, which started back on October 1st, and many of those air traffic controllers have been working without pay. And just last week, right here at Orlando International Airport, we saw several flights delayed and canceled due to staffing shortages, according to the FAA, specifically air traffic controllers.
We are seeing pressures build in a way that we don't feel will, if we allow it to go unchecked, will allow us to continue to tell the public that we operate the safest airline system in the world. And we're not going to react to that, and we intend to be proactive. So we're going to implement measures with our commercial airline industry partners, but this is going to go beyond commercial airspace. It's going to include restrictions on space launches.
Now, I spoke with a few travelers here before we came on air just about the situation, and a lot of them are worried about how this is going to impact their holiday travel and how this is going to be done. Now, it looks like the FAA will be speaking with airlines, and they'll be coming out with the list of those impacted airports on Thursday. Here in Orlando, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
Jarrell, thank you. Make sure you have our News 6 app to get the most up-to-date information about this government shutdown-related air travel reduction. Our app is free in the App Store. Just search WKMG.
Also breaking right now, we've just confirmed the death of a UCF research director was a murder-suicide. The bodies of Dr. Padmini Waldron and her husband, Scott Waldron, were found in their DeLand home on Saturday. DeLand police say Scott Waldron shot and killed his wife, then himself. They have not released a motive. It's been nearly 24 hours since the polls closed in Orlando, Ginger.
Yeah, and we know the District 3 race is going to a runoff next month, but District 1 and 5 are set. District 1's race raised some eyebrows, though. Former State Representative Tom Keene winning over current Commissioner Jim Gray. In this race, District 1 covers the Lake Nona area. Keene securing almost 54% of the vote and beat Gray by more than 20%. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valente joins us now live outside City Hall. So, Mike, this is a nonpartisan race, but Democratic leaders are really celebrating this.
Yeah, Ginger, that's right. It's true that this is a nonpartisan position, but it's also true that it's former Democratic State Representative Tom Keene, who will now be replacing the lone registered Republican on Orlando City Council.
The Democratic Party of Florida made sure to highlight that Tuesday night, taking to social media to call Tom Keene's victory in District 1 a flip, writing that, quote, "The pendulum is swinging in our favor as we flipped the final Republican seat on the Orlando City Commission."
This is the beginning of some big changes on the city council.
Aubrey Jewett is a political science professor at UCF. We talked to him a day after Keene defeated Gray by more than 20 percentage points.
The fact that he is a Republican and that the Republican Party got involved and sort of highlighted that and tried to attack, you know, his opponent for being a progressive or liberal Democrat or something like that. It just didn't work.
Jewett is alluding to this mailer sent to voters explicitly tying the Republican Party to Jim Gray. Democratic opponents seized on it. But John Hanley, an associate lecturer of political science at UCF, is not sure that's what this election really came down to.
It wouldn't surprise me at all that, it's not really about the partisanship. If it was Republicans who were saying that they were opposed to this level of growth, they might still be getting in. it's these issues about affordability and traffic and so forth that are coming to the fore.
In a district that includes Lake Nona and the Orlando International Airport, voters have sounded off on issues concerning growth and traffic on Narcoossee Road.
You have an increasingly educated population in Orange County as more jobs are coming in, and these are folks who are willing to put in the investment to find out who.
So the incumbent, the now ousted Commissioner Jim Gray, has been in office for 13 years. We reached out to his office. We have not yet heard back. We also reached out to Tom Keene, and just within the last 30 minutes or so, I got an email back saying that he's been swamped with messages, and hopefully we will find a time to talk about his victory. We're live outside City Hall tonight. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
All right, Mike, thank you. We're also following the results of some of the other major races in the city of Orlando. A runoff is now set for December 9th in the District 3 race. This covers the College Park and Baldwin Park neighborhoods. Roger Chapin got about 34% of the vote, while Mira Tana got just under that. Then in District 5, voters giving interim Commissioner Shan Rose the role. This district covers the city's business district and Paramore neighborhoods. Rose securing 51% of the vote. Rose beat former Commissioner Regina Hill. Hill was suspended last year by Governor Ron DeSantis after she was charged with exploiting a 96-year-old woman. We have a full list of election results right now on clickorlando.com. Just scroll to the More Headlines section on our homepage to find the article.
Following the mayor race in New York City, Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood is now inviting New Yorkers to move to Florida. Chitwood posting on Facebook inviting any NYC residents or police officers unhappy with Zohran Mamdani's victory in the Big Apple to come on down to Volusia County. We have seen a rise in people moving from the Empire State down to our beautiful Sunshine State. Back in 2022, more than 90,000 people moved from New York to Florida. In 2023, that number did drop to just 71,000 people moving south. This was still the highest number from any other state that year. The state is projecting more than 300,000 people to move in through next year. Florida already hit a record high in population earlier this year at 23 million people.
Well, right where the 417 and 429 meet, the International Parkway meet in Seminole County, lies a vacant 18 acres of land. But we're learning there's a proposed development in the works. Your Seminole County community correspondent, Catherine Silver, joins us live. And Catherine, you're looking at the plan so far.
Yeah, and really you should know right off the top that this process is just beginning. Those plans are very preliminary, but this is a look at what could be called Piedmont Town Park. These are preliminary plans for what would become Piedmont Town Park. There's space for a grocery store, 12,600 square feet of retail space, a gym and restaurant, and behind that, room for a 300-plus multifamily housing unit with a parking garage. Before the county gets close to approving a project like this, they have to look at everything from planning to environmental impacts to traffic. Some of that was discussed at a meeting here.
It'll be Class A luxury multifamily housing with state-of-the-art amenities and condo quality finishes.
We got to hear an overview of the project straight from the applicants.
Essentially, we're proposing a multi-use project, filling up all of the 18 or so acres.
For this level of project, we'll probably need a pretty detailed traffic study on that.
What do you think of these plans?
I think with every condo comes 2 cars.
Pat Karakouche and Fred Petito live in nearby Heathrow and have watched this area expand with office space, the existing Colonial Town Center, and the apartment buildings that are already lining International Parkway, which has 4 lanes for cars to travel. This summer, we learned there are also preliminary plans for a 21-acre multifamily residential development on a site just north of Piedmont Town Park.
So along with business development, you have to have road development, utility development, all those peripherals that are necessary to run the businesses that are ideally coming in to add to our community. As long as it's adding to the community, it's great. When it starts interfering with the community, then we've got an issue.
Again, we're in the very early stages here. There would need to be a formal application before this gets close to being approved. The meeting today was simply a pre-application meeting. I'm live in Seminole County. Catherine Silver, News 6.
Catherine, thank you.
All right, well, the government shutdown continues to cause issues around the country.
Yeah, now a late veteran is still in a morgue before anything can be done.
I cannot believe that Jim is still not taken care of.
Why a caregiver says they now have to wait to cremate for the veteran.
Very nice evening out there, just a few passing clouds tonight. Temperatures over the next few days gradually warm up even more before a big-time blast of colder air arrives next week. We'll pinpoint the timeline on that and talk about how cold at about 6:17.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health, helping the communities we serve to feel whole.
We are staying on top of breaking news. Weeks before the Thanksgiving travel rush, the FAA is announcing 40 high-volume markets will see a 10% drop in air traffic. It all starts this Friday. We will have more updates on clickorlando.com. The government shutdown is not just affecting air travelers, but now the final arrangements for someone who served our country.
The body of a Central Florida veteran has been sitting in a funeral home for weeks waiting for cremation, all due to confusion over funeral benefits. As News 6's Jana Manohalal discovered, the government shutdown is making it hard for loved ones to get answers.
He was a good person. He had a heart. He would give up his shirt for anybody.
Leah Galbraith cared for Air Force veteran Jim Brody in his final years of life. Now her final full measure of devotion is providing him a place to rest.
It makes me angry and sad that I cannot believe that Jim is still not taken care of.
Jim Brody passed away on October 4th, more than a month ago. And since then, he's been here at the Osceola Memory Gardens in Kissimmee. as Leah has tried to get in contact with Veterans Affairs to ensure his life and services are fully honored.
So I went to the funeral home, took care of everything I could. They told me that they would have to get out, go and get to the VA and all that, which I had to do that too. And I called the VA and Lake Nona and told them that he passed away, that it can take a while because with the government shut down, it's going to take a few. And I'm like, how long do you think? And she said, well, we can keep his body for another month or two. And that hurts. He's a veteran,
While parts of the VA remain open during the government shutdown, Leah has struggled to navigate the best way to honor Jim's service.
I wish I had the money. I would take care of him.
The VA office does help with funeral costs and burial services like the cremation Jim requested, but the caregiver must fill out an application online. But Leah says she was never told about an application.
If I knew about an application, I would have done it.
Right.
No one told me anything about application.
We were able to help Leah get started on the application and hopefully find a final resting place for her friend. But we're told by the Lake Nona VA that no new applications will be processed during the government shutdown. For a full list of benefits that the VA still covers during the government shutdown, you can head to clickorlando.com. For now, in Osceola County, Jana Manahalal, News 6.
After major flooding destroyed roads in Lake County, we're already seeing some restoration efforts on Donnelly Street. This is what the road looked like about 10 days ago. Now the road has been filled in after storm damage. The mayor says this goal is to stabilize the cable, sewer, and other lines the city relies on and needs. The city is also telling neighbors it's speeding up the design and engineering phase on Donnelly Street. With help from FDOT, the city is applying for certification for funding on that reconstruction project. Your Lake County community correspondent Emily McLeod has been following the flooding in that county nonstop since last week. The city says it's working to figure out how to rebuild that road properly.
We end up with, rebuilding it and then looking for reimbursement from the federal government highway funds.
The city says estimates for the project currently sitting around $5 million. This could change. It's important to note, even with this part of Donnelly Street closed, there are still plenty of ways to get around the city of Mount Dora if you head that way.
Yeah, and again, Emily has been working around the clock to get the updates on flooding in Lake County because a lot of people just want to know what is going on there. And just last week, she's been in backyard speaking with some homeowners and speaking with local businesses about the impact of all the flooding, and even went neighborhood by neighborhood with police surveying the destruction. So this is all to let you know we're working for you. If you have damage that needs attention in Lake County, reach out to us on clickorlando.com and we'll be sure to answer your emails and get a look at what's going on in your neighborhood.
Meteorologist Jonathan Keg is joining us at the desk now. Fortunately, we have not had any crazy events like that since, and hopefully we can avoid it for quite some time.
I think it's going to be a while, hopefully. We are going to be watching for things to be on the dryer, so maybe a few sprinkles sneaking in here tomorrow. Okay. Not going to add any kind of flooding or anything like that. Temperatures outside nice and comfortable right now. We do have a mainly clear view, of course, tonight if you're trying to get out there and see the supermoon. It is rising tonight. It was at its fullest point at 8 o'clock, so we basically get 2 nights to get involved on the nearly full moon tonight. This is the full Beaver moon. It's one of the closest approaches. It is the closest approach to Earth that the moon has. It's one of 3 supermoons technically, but this is the closest one of the 3. Really cool shot here with our Port Canaveral Brevard camera, our Launch Credit Union camera tonight. If you snap a photo of this awesome moon here, send it to us, clickorlando.com/pins, or on the free News 6 weather app. There's a section right in there, the Pin It section. There's the free download. You can submit that right there, right from the palm of your hand, and I can showcase your photos tonight on the news at 11 o'clock. So keep them sending. A lot of great photos came in last night as well. Cool shot here again. Temperature is right around 70 degrees under that mainly clear sky, at least on the coast. We will have a few clouds coming back into play through the rest of the evening and especially overnight. There's 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think we're smooth sailing weather-wise. It should be a nice, comfortable start to the day as well. We will see a few extra clouds push in from the south and west. Nonetheless, most of these clouds do not pose any kind of threat to rainfall. There's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We will see a few areas of light green pop up on future radar. Some of these showers could reach the ground as just very light sprinkles. The air is very, very dry. Most of, if you see anything popping up on the News 6 weather app, a lot of that's going to evaporate before it reaches the ground. 73 in the Villages right now at DeLand. Good evening. We're hanging around 70. Titusville, we are at 73 degrees. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency? You ought to call Strata.
Tomorrow morning, we're back to around 60 degrees area-wide. That's pretty much right where we should be. We're at 62 in Daytona, Kissimmee. Good evening. We are at 64 degrees. Tomorrow afternoon, we're heading back to right around 80. I do think we're going to see the extra clouds in our sky tomorrow. Rain chances at best at 20%. Again, that's going to be along in southeast of I-4, the, relatively speaking anyway, best shot to see a few very, very light showers coming through. We're going to warm things up a little further as we get into Saturday and Sunday, back to the mid to upper 80s. And then the strongest cold front of the season, the coldest air of the season by far, blasts in Monday afternoon into the evening, highs on Monday into the mid-70s. That drops further on Tuesday, and we're going to keep things below average as we move into the middle and latter stages of next work week. Now, Tuesday is the coolest afternoon. It's also the coolest day. You see it there. Most of us going to be in the lower 40s. There will be 30s scattered across Central Florida, especially north and to the west of High 4. It is going to be quite chilly, but warm before we get there, mid to upper 80s over the weekend, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Sports Director Jamie Say is here now.
Jamie, the Orlando Magic are back home.
Yeah, after a less than stellar end to their road trip, right? More on the Magic coming up, but first we're going to go to Sanford and check in with the Orlando Pride. On Friday, they begin their title defense in the playoffs. How challenges this season has fortified the champs. The second season begins for the Orlando Pride on Friday night. They open up the playoffs at home against the Seattle Reign. The Pride would love a repeat of last fall when they won their first NWSL championship and got a victory parade through downtown Orlando. Going back-to-back will not be easy. A playoff long shot, the Pride need 3 victories to win it all again. Nathaniel Rivas checked in with the defending champs today.
There's certainly a different feeling for the Orlando Pride going into this year's playoffs. Last time around, they won it all. They won the Shield and the NWSL Championship. Things have not been the same this year. Players have been injured, they've lost games, so they've certainly been battle-tested. But the goal of going back-to-back remains the same. The team said today, confidence is high, and they want to use last year's memories as motivation.
You want to replicate those feelings of finishing the game and the joys of winning and going into the next round and going all the way to the championship, so that's our motive.
We're so excited. It's the first time in our history to clinch playoffs back-to-back, and obviously with the year we had last year and the run we made, we're still riding that high and we're chasing that again, so we're really excited.
Definitely we're going to rely on our experience. We've been here before, we know what it takes to win a championship, and at the same time every year's different, and so I think we're also going to bring the lessons that we've learned from this year and the grit and resilience we've had to show into these next few games.
The Pride's quest of going back-to-back starts this Friday night at home. They'll face the Seattle Reign, a team they just played last weekend, to a 1-1 draw. In Sanford, Nathaniel Rivas, News 6.
Kickoff is at 8 on Friday. Meanwhile, the Orlando Magic are back from their 5-game road trip. They had the day off today. They practice tomorrow, and they've got some things to work out after last night's foul-filled loss at the Atlanta Hawks. The Magic sent the Hawks to the free throw line 42 times. They also had 17 turnovers. They've been one of the highest turnover teams in the first 2 weeks of the season. Last night, the fouls, the turnovers impacted offense and defense, giving the Magic plenty to work on before they host the Celtics on Friday.
Get home and regroup and take care of home. That's the message.
And among all the fouls last night were these two from Desmond Bane. He committed a flagrant foul and then got called for a tech when he spiked the ball into that Atlanta Hawk. Bane was ejected. Jamal Mosley was asked about it last night, and he said this.
I have to go back and look at it. I thought he was trying to just make sure the guy didn't go up to get and one, hard foul. And that's all I saw from my vantage point.
Do you have to say anything to him after a moment like that, or
no?
No, Bane's a veteran. The flagrant foul, he was trying to prevent an easy hoop. Perhaps the spike should be saved for the volleyball court.
Yeah. But we're going to look at it, Jamie.
Mosley has to. What do you want him to throw him under the bus? What is he supposed to do?
And that's not Jamal Mosley.
I think he was all right.
All right.
Just didn't want to get the and one. Thank you, Jamie. Hey, much more coming on ClickOrlando.com. The 9 o'clock News 6 tonight will be there on your streaming app.
Look forward to seeing you then. Until then, have a great night, everybody.